Hey, Colin.
Okay, hello, and welcome to Separated by Water, the podcast for largely Irish fans of English teams, but we're much broader than that these days. My name's Colin Campbell. I'm a Spurs season ticket holder, a flu-suffering Spurs season ticket holder, but more of that later. My co-host and colleagues, Paul Galt, lifelong Forest fan. How are you, Paul?
I'm
You
good, Colin.
good?
I'm good. Thank you very much. Great
Yeah,
result for you
okay,
guys
but
last night, was it, or Wednesday night? Yeah, or
yeah,
Tuesday night.
yeah,
I can't
Tuesday
remember
night,
which.
it was Tuesday night,
And
yeah. Yeah, we'll come to that too, I
yeah, good
suppose.
result. Yeah,
But
and I'm looking
tonight
forward
we're going to
to
cover. You're looking forward to it? Good.
looking forward to the game
Utrecht.
tonight and the weekend.
Yeah.
So Utrecht. So go ahead, give us a run
Aye.
through, mate. My apologies.
Okay. Well, look. Let's start where we start. Yeah, we're going to cover Utrecht. We're going to look back at Spurs, and then we're going to look forward to the Forest Spurs game on Sunday. Well, we'll both be there. We'll fill that in. But let's start where we start. Okay. Paul, Utrecht. Yeah, a Dutch team, probably more famous as a town for the Treaty of Utrecht in 1713, which I studied many years ago. But how's the fall? How are you feeling about this? How do you see this?
Well,
Do you,
sadly, I'll just say
you
we were
know,
hoping to get the guys on, but they're in the fan zone, very noisy, and it doesn't look as if it's going to work. It's a bit like the night I was over at the Forest
uh,
game. So they're going to send
yeah,
me through a video of their predictions. My prediction to Colin tonight, we should win it. The big question here is, do we put out a strong team, concentrate on this, protect our squad for the Spurs game? Which did we do? That option A: put out a strong squad, concentrate in Europe, aim for 17th place, and hope that we win the Europa League a bit like you guys did last year? Or do we put out a mediocre team and concentrate on beating Spurs at the City Ground? I would like a balance somewhere in between, personally. But we'll wait. We'll come to the Spurs game. We'll come to predictions. We'll come to all that.
yeah,
Um, they're seventh in the Dutch league. They're 1 point
yeah,
in this Europa League so far. On paper, we should
yeah,
win it, but we know on paper is on paper. It's not, doesn't mean anything once you're on grass. Um, I just hope that we can do the business and not come up with too many injuries. I fully expect Zach Abbott. I think he'll rest Elliot Anderson. I think he'll play Morgan Gibbs White because I think he features very firmly. I think we'll see Zach Abbott and a few of the lesser players, but the players that don't necessarily get their place on the team in the Premiership. But we will get a video through from the Forest or Magic crew
mm,
out in Utrecht. I want to tell them, be safe, stay safe, and enjoy your day. And as soon as we get that through, we'll have a shout about it.
yeah,
So, talk to me about
yeah.
your
As soon as that
European
comes
game
in,
the other night, Colin. You seem to be very underwhelmed
yeah.
with your victory. Um,
Story of
you
my
can only
life
beat
these
who's in
days.
front of you, and you done that.
Yeah, oh, no, you don't get me wrong. I'm very pleased with the fact that 3 goals, 3 different scorers, one of them from Prague, um, and a clean sheet, and no injuries to speak of. And the team were kind of got through on it. It was okay. Yeah, I'm very happy with all of that. What interests me is the performance of Xavi Simons. Now he came both on a blaze of glory and with pressure. The blaze of glory was he's done very well in Leverkusen. He's a Dutch player. He's tricky. He's nice. He fancies himself. You know all the usual things. But
Yeah.
he came and was perceived as the one instead of SA who had gone away to Arsenal. So that was like a wee bit of pressure on, oh, can he do what this guy does, or is he a poor replacement? Blah blah blah. Initially, he looked to be slightly playing out of position, then not playing at all, and then he's come back into playing that kind of number 10 role. And I like what he's doing, and he's up for it. He looks a wee bit slight, a wee bit too slight for my liking. But having said that, he gets stuck in. Modric was no man mountain. There are others. Bale was a strong boy, but Modric was wary, and I hope he sort of takes this path as well. I liked what he's doing. What's my point? I think for Frank to commit to that, we need to sort of mold the team around him. And I hope we give that a chance. It means that the Paulinas and the Bentancurs and the Sas and so on may have to find themselves in a position in relation to Simons, you know, how they support him, how they help him, protect him, feed off him, feed him, and so on. But I like that idea. The other anomaly for me is, what is Richarlison playing at? He keeps scoring goals, you know, but yet he looks like he's not doing anything. And probably both of those are true. But what does all this mean? I like the result. It keeps us in charge. In a more general sense, and maybe for another day, learn that the Premier League's maybe going to gobble up the Champions League and the Europa League in terms of the comparative strength. Some of these teams just don't look up to it, you know, at the minute. And even Real, you know, the bankers, the Reals, the Bayerns, you know, the other European teams are losing to the Premiership teams. But that's for another day. As you say, we can only beat who we're given. And Tottenham's next two games will tell us more. Dortmund and, excuse me, Leipzig. So that was okay. What that means for me for Sunday is, will Spurs keep a similar formation and play through Xavi Simons? And I sincerely hope we do.
Yeah.
So there you go.
We'll come to that. I want to just touch briefly, and I'm conscious I don't want you to do all the talking with your chest.
Yeah, thank you.
And I know you're far side of it, and I'm glad to hear you are.
Yeah,
you sent a message earlier, and I'd actually been thinking this, and I was actually chatting to a guy. I'm just back from holidays after the nightmare from hell journey home. But anyway, that's a different story. And we were talking about the English league, the English teams dominating the league. Or the Europa League, and well, we're not. Hopefully, we will be in the domination position after tonight. 11 points and up into the automatic qualification. Villa are up there, but the Champions League, it certainly looks that way. Like Man City beating Real Madrid, Arsenal are unbeaten, which I know makes you happy. But is this league getting to the stage that it's just a step ahead of everybody else?
It may be more steps than that. And I think the bigger is money. And I know the Italians and the Spanish don't like it. And I think that PSG, who are a little bit false, you know, in terms of their buying power, disguise, I think, how comparatively weak the French Ligue 1. As for Dutch, Belgian, what we used to be Czech, Slovakian, Romanian, Polish, all these countries. And I'm from a generation who remembered some of the great names of the old days: Ferencváros, Gornik, Slavia Prague, Dukla Prague. I wish I had the Dukla Prague array kit, if anyone remembers that song, like Half Man, Half Biscuit. Saint Etienne, another iconic name with a group. And so on and so forth. And even the champions of Europe from the past, the Benficas, you know, the Ajax, are nowhere to be seen, really. And I think that not only has it stripped away the lesser countries and former communist countries who cannot compete salary-wise, the other traditionally big leagues, the Italian league, and then it was their guy Berlusconi who was behind all of the Champions League in the first place, are losing ground, you know, and they're trying to play matches in Australia already in order to.
So what happens then, Colin? Did they change their model, or did they try and get our model changed that it levels the playing field? Where do they go with that? And again, I'll say I'm conscious. I don't want you doing all the talking, you know. But
no, you're fine.
Just briefly, do you think they try to adopt the same model? I don't think all the leagues can have the same amount of money pumped into them. The Premiership seems to be the pinnacle, and it seems to be where everybody wants to be. You know.
I don't think they can. I think that if they ever could, they've lost the plot, in the sense that the Spanish league was probably only ever Real Madrid and Barcelona, you know, to the rest of the world. You know, some of these leagues, Inter Milan, AC Milan, Juventus, these leagues were always strong, but only with a small number of teams. Whereas the English league, for that maybe one team dominated winning it, the Premiership or whatever beforehand, there were always a number of strong teams in there who would do
Yeah,
well, and
yeah.
that's kind of what I'm finding now. So what I'm saying is, probably to go back on my point, Spurs finished 17th last season in the Premiership, one place above relegation, and there would be an argument as to whether they have strengthened since then. And they come and beat the first or second best team in the Czech Republic very easily, frankly. They
Well,
dispatched
I see it
Copenhagen.
differently. I see it differently. I don't think he's have strengthened that much, and I'm
No.
very conscious of bad language on this podcast. You said a shit manager, and there's no other way to put it. He was absolute garbage. We got him, and it destroyed our season.
Okay.
There's no
But,
way,
my
Colin.
point
There's
is
no way your
17th.
team would have finished 17th if it had been managed properly. And I'm sorry.
Well, okay. Well, I take your point, and thank you for that. But the point I'm trying to make is to say that the strength goes far down in the Premiership, and it's too much for the other leagues to be able to sustain. They maybe sustain one in France, two really in Spain, because Villarreal, Athletic Club or Athletic Bilbao, as I used to know them, Athletic Madrid, they don't seem to be quite strong this year. You know what I mean? Bayern have even been beaten. What are the other German teams? Leverkusen, Dortmund. They're not. That strength isn't going down the way it seems to be in the Premiership, and I see problems because whenever the final shakedown comes in the new year, but how many top teams when the Europa League and the Premiership tables are there to set up the knockout phases, they're going to be absolutely inundated with Premiership teams. And then if they manage that to have the Premiership teams avoid each other in the early knockout rounds, what's it going to mean to the final? And last year's final was Man United and Spurs, so you could get Villa Forest.
So on that, taking that forward, Colin, if you look at, I was trying to work out where the safety zone is. Where's the floor in the Premiership? Wolves are the only place that I can start the floor at. Anybody else can have a run of 2 or 3 games and get out of that relegation area. Or any of 5 or 6 teams could have a bad run and fall into that relegation zone. I'm hoping we're the previous. I hope not the latter. I hope we're climbing out of it and get successive victories or drag us out of it. So that answers your question. That confirms what you're saying. The strength and depth is running right down to the bottom of the Premiership.
Yeah.
I watched Leeds the other night against Liverpool. My God, what a game! What a team! They played their socks off, and I tell you now, there's no team or a walkover in this league this season. Nobody.
No, and that's the same league who beat Chelsea.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is the same Chelsea who drew. And is this good or is bad? It depends how you see it. For me, I look at this objectively, and I look at objectives. And what I'm saying is, if UEFA wanted to create a strong, inclusive, if you will, Champions League and Europa League, it's in danger. And when does interest wane? Because they had to reset the qualifying stages, the early stages, whatever you want to call them. From what used to be the old group stages, because they said there are too many dead rubbers, too many. Well, how many of these are starting to be after a while, and that will be a problem because it's all about money. And when people start to lose a bit of interest.
So does that mean weekends do we come back to, well, in one word, is the new qualifying system a success?
I think it has been better. I think it has been a refreshing, but I think it's in danger of giving us too much of what we thought we wanted. And what I mean by that, usually you would not have seen City at Real Madrid until a knockout stage. That game's already been played. I think Liverpool have played, Real. So too many of those will eventually just dilute the whole thing, It's like all the
Well,
games at Wembley.
yeah. Yeah, it's like the old thing. We used to look forward to Football Focus coming on or Match of the Day
Yeah,
and on a Saturday
yeah,
evening, and now it's sort of been diluted. Now there's so much football on now. I act at the start of the week. What am I going
yeah,
to watch? And if I'm doing nothing else, I'll maybe put an additional one on. But I generally select a couple of matches that I'm going to watch during the week, and they
yeah,
normally are the Forest, Spurs, Man
yeah,
United, sort of Liverpool games, just to see if they
yeah.
can suffer. Okay, have you looked at Utrecht at all? Have you? Other than that, how do you think? How do you think
Yeah.
Forest will do tonight? How do you think we'll
Well,
do
I mean,
tonight?
probably in when I was looking through Utrecht and so on, it was this whole thing about the relative strengths was formulating in my head, and what I would probably say is that Utrecht, even in the Eredivisie, are probably are neither here nor there team. I think that Forest, to be blunt, if Forest needed to beat them 4 or 5 tonight, if they really had to, I think they would. You
Yeah,
know,
well,
now,
I'm
now,
hopeful, and that is actually where I am, and that
but
takes
I
me back
don't
to my
think they
original
will.
point.
Yeah,
No, no,
I
no.
think
It
I
takes me
think
back to the original
Forest.
point. I think that Dyche and Co are going to put out a team that protects our position in the. Basically, will seek the win, but won't damage
Yeah,
us for the games coming up in the Premiership. I think they
yeah,
know
yeah,
that
yeah.
we're not safe enough to be able to just dilly dally. I think we should win. I think it'll be a 2-3-0 victory. Like whenever you look at Malmo, I was at the game. They threw nothing at us at all. Absolutely
Yeah,
nothing. It was one
yeah.
way street. Now you can always. It was always. It should on paper always have been easy, but at the end of the day, they can get it. They can get.
Yeah,
And they can get a
maybe
lucky goal,
sometimes.
and that can
Yeah,
change anything. That can change
sometimes you just
anything.
don't know.
And
You know what I mean?
yeah, I just hope
But
that doesn't happen
interestingly,
tonight.
what I'm saying about Utrecht being a neither here nor there team. Here's a stat: they've played 60 games in the Europa League or the UEFA Cup as was, and they've won 21 and they've lost 21. You know what I mean? You couldn't make that up. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's my point.
Colin, we
The
have
specific
we have
point
a
is,
savior. We have a
oh,
savior. Amma has joined us. Amma, buddy,
Hello,
how are
guys.
you?
are you?
I'm good.
You
Well,
didn't.
I'm a bit depressed that I'm in Birmingham and not in Holland.
I understand, but hey, everybody's your loss is our gain. You're there. Yeah, thanks for jumping on at such short notice, Colin. While you were talking there, sent Amma a message just saying we can't
Yeah.
hear the guys out in Utrecht. Would you give us Amma? You're not there. What's your prediction for tonight? Do you think, first of all, what team do you think Dyche will play? Do you think he'll play a strong team, or do you think he'll put out a mediocre team to just get the victory and protect us for the Premiership?
I think he's going to play a pretty strong team. I don't think he's going to be the best of the best, but I think there'll be at least minimum of seven, maybe 8 players that are first team.
Yeah,
I think I posted a picture yesterday of like the squad on the pitch yesterday, and I saw a few kids, but it looked like all the big boys have travelled. I think if he was going to rest Anderson or Gibbs White, I think he would have left them back in Nottingham. So I think he's took
yeah.
them for a reason, and I think he's learned a few lessons. I'm hoping it's a strong team, get the job done at half time, and save some legs to beat Colin Spurs on Sunday.
Ooh. And will we see you? Will you
That's the
see you on
plan.
Sunday?
That's the
You're
dream,
going to the
anyway.
match, aren't you? You're coming to the match with us, aren't you? Yeah, we'll be with you.
Yep, I'll be there.
Oh, can't
Yeah, no,
wait,
I'll be
mate.
there.
Can't wait. So, okay, give me a score prediction for tonight. Then, how are we going to get on in the Utrecht game?
I'm going to go back to the Royal 3-0.
3-0. Good man, good man. And finally, as the train comes into
I'm
the
just going on the train now,
prediction,
by the way. Gonna signal
that's
my
right. Prediction for
not gonna
Sunday,
get this.
and then we'll let you go. Prediction for Sunday against Spurs. How do you think the game's going to go?
I think it'll be 2-1 to Forest. A very difficult game, though.
That's all right. And before you go, then, do you think Colin will suit red when he's wearing a Forest top for the next podcast?
After Sunday, he will be a Forest fan, don't worry. When he meets the gang, he won't want to go back to that plastic stadium.
I don't do.
Amma, thanks for joining us. Your lifesaver. Thanks for joining us and giving your predictions. And we'll
Thanks,
see you
Amma.
on Sunday. We're looking forward to it.
Yes, we.
All right, see you Sunday. Take care.
See you, buddy.
Love it.
Take care, Amma. Thanks, mate. Take care. See you Sunday. That was a quick, and thanks for Amma for doing that.
Yeah. Excellent.
Okay, Colin, let's get to the game on Sunday. I'm going to say tonight 2 or 3-0 victory. What do you think? Do you want to give a prediction, or do you just want to move on?
I think Forest will get 2. I think that Sean Dyche and his team will have looked at, and I think that it used to be what Alex Ferguson did in the league, the old League Cup years ago. He says, I really want to win this. But according to the 11 he was playing against, he set up a team which is only marginally stronger and encourage these players to do it. And I think Sean Dyche will do the same. And it highlights again to me that what every part of the point I've made about the relative strengths of these divisions, so these leagues, the Eredivisie and the Premier League, where a team like Forest can do that. But that's where we are. So I'd say
Sunday. Just to let people know, Colin and myself will be attending the match in hospitality, no less, courtesy of Justin and Gill, along with the Forest Our Magic fan group, which we're looking forward to. The deal is that if Forest lose the match, I have to wear a Spurs top for the next game, for the next podcast, and vice versa. Colin will have to wear a Forest top for the podcast if Forest win. Colin, what's your aspirations for Sunday? What do you think is going to happen? How do you see it all unfolding?
Well, my aspirations are that Spurs win. I think that talking Spurs specifically, what I said before, I would like to see a build-up on this system around Siemens to give him the confidence and firming up the players that will be around him and getting onto it. I hope Manny is fit up front. I like Richarlison maybe slightly playing off him, particularly away from home. I want to see a back four, not this 3 at the back or 5 at the back, to settle us all again where Romero and Van de Ven know what they're doing. That Spence comes back to being the Spence we know and love, not the one we fear, where he's focused and playing the game and getting forward and getting back. And the Poro is on there as well. I think Destiny Dougie is injured at the minute. And we'll see how that goes. I could understand why he wouldn't play Sarr in this formation I'm talking about. I do like him. I think he will go for a Bentancur, Siemens sort of combo. And that's okay. Paulina may be there or thereabouts eventually for maybe, when we're protecting our 3-goal lead. He might come on just to keep things tidy in the middle of the pitch, That's my aspiration. What do I expect with Spurs? God knows, and that's the beauty of them, I do expect that Thomas is not silly. I think he now is falling on to something that he can see works, where it keeps us strong at the back and interesting up front. A wee bit more inventive than we had been. And I hope that that's what happens. And I do, on edge, I think we'll edge it. Yeah, I'm confident we will, yeah. If we want to, I think we should.
Only a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about Thomas Frank's future with the club, and it was in doubt. Is it safe now, is it?
I don't think anyone is ever, inverted commas, safe. And I don't mean that badly. I think that there was a bad run of results here. Now, since then, the draw away at Newcastle, fortuitous as it was in terms of the lateness of the second goal, was a lift because it looked like we'd gone up there and muscled it and give it a go. And the 3,000 fans who were up there liked it. We'll come back and we do the business on Brentford. And then we beat Slavia Prague. Now, regardless of the relative strengths of those teams, all of a sudden, we've come back with the draw and 2 wins. and 2 wins at home where we couldn't do that. So I don't think he's, well, he solved it all. He's not a genius. But I think are we turning the corner? Sunday will tell us. I think we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it immensely. I was out for a walk the other day, and I was just thinking to myself, what do I expect from Sunday? And it's twofold. It's what Spurs turns up, which Spurs turns up, and which Forest turns up, because both our teams have the capability of turning up and not providing the goods and tailing off and doing something silly and not doing well. I personally think that the City ground will be bouncing. I think that it'll be just a bit too much for you. I think that if Spence is playing, don't forget Spence's heart is still in Forest. He was there whenever we got promoted. He's part of the team. I'm telling you, these guys, they love the. Once you play at Forest, you don't want to play anywhere else, Colin. We are Nottingham Forest at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, Johnson is the same. Johnson will come there and he's a Forest player through and through. His dad played for Forest. I know they're professionals, they do their very best, but at the heart of it, they don't want to win. They don't want to win at the City ground. They want to hear the Forest crowd winning, and that's what's going to happen. We're going to beat you 2-1. I'm going to predict that 2-1. And that's what I hope. That's what I think. Anyway, Colin, I'm going to keep it short today because I'm conscious of your voice. I'm very conscious of your voice.
Thank you.
Give us a score before you go for Sunday. Your score, what is it going to be?
I will go 2-1 Spurs.
Okay. All right. Well, look, we will do various video clips while we're over there, and we'll pop them up in shorts and one thing or another. We'll get maybe what you think of the City ground when you're standing there.
I like to come over and see these wee small parochial grounds. It's good for me, to look down and see things like that. It's good.
So much I could say, but I'm not going to. But I'm going to give you a question that I was asked to ask you.
Okay.
Do you think Spurs are a top 6 team?
You mean Big 6 or top 6? Top 6, yes. Big 6, Big 4, yeah, absolutely. I've always said that, yeah. But they don't perform there at times.
What qualifies you to be a top 4 team? You haven't won the European Cup. You haven't won anything. You're not one of the Big 4. The stadium is the number of fans that you can cram into the ground. The amount of tourists you can cram into South Korea.
Well, we've had this discussion before. There are a whole lot of factors. One of them is of the Big 4 you mentioned, or the Big 4 who you think you're mentioning. 2 of that Big 4 aren't trophy holders at the minute. Spurs are one who are. In terms of history, size, charisma, world appeal. I've always said that. And I said the only thing that lets Spurs down is Spurs themselves. And we'll see how the Lewis family, the younger members who have now taken over from Levy in many ways, we'll see how they go. But I mean, this is a question that comes up all the time. You like to throw it in there.
Sorry, but I sometimes forget what we've discussed before, and I know I'm asked, and I was asked to ask you that question: where in Envy's world does Spurs become a top 4 team or the Big 4 team? It must be based on the stadium size, certainly not the trophy.
No, it's based on a whole lot of people's opinion over the years. Certainly, people older, younger people who less sense of history. I mean, they think the good old days were, 2010. Obviously, Chelsea come into that equation, City, and so on. But even Gary Neville, probably the only thing I've ever said that he's believed, said that even to this day, Spurs are a bigger team than Man City. So what do we base it on? And it's based on a whole compendium of things. And that's just the way it is for me. And I think that at times you would say that no matter how many trophies some of these teams win, they're just not as big, and some people will say for all the trophies City are winning these days, they're not as big as United. They just don't have that magic.
Yeah, the business model for Man United is a very different business model for Man City, and the supporters are very different. Yeah.
And they have a magic. Spurs have a magic about them. That's why you're all excited about them coming up on Sunday. And I understand that. And I'm excited about me coming, and I understand that too, as Tottenham's representative on earth.
I think they're inviting you up because they're feeling sorry for you, standing so high up on the ground that you can barely see the players running about in the pitch.
In my seat, I can nearly touch them. I can reach down and touch their heads. They're that close. It's so good. It's so good. It really is a feat of architecture.
That's the feat.
But sure, when we're there, and what you were saying was we'll get there a bit early on Sunday and we can do some fishing.
Some which?
Do some fishing.
No need to do any fishing. No need to do any fishing. We'll do a bit of videos and let you. We'll do a bit of a chat and a look around the city ground and look at the hospitality and one thing and another, and we'll see how we go from there. But anyway, look, Colin, I'm going to let you go. I want you to be rude, because you won't. Although you might as well use up your voice now because you won't be needing it on Sunday. It'll be quelled. It'll be calmed down.
I have a feeling I won't get a minute's peace on Sunday.
I have a feeling you won't. I've been told to tell you don't, because there's a hat's been arranged for you. You can leave that navy blue one behind and pack your Christmas jumper because it is needed.
It's over there. I'll see if I can get it
for you. The hat is in a Spurs theme. I can tell you that. So we'll look forward to seeing that on you.
I'm sure that's frightening. Who is responsible for this?
I can't be telling you any information like that there. I'll just tell you it's organised for you, and the person in hand will give it to you at the time. So they will.
Very good.
Anyway, guys, out in Utrecht, stay safe. I hope we win tonight, you Reds. We'll see you, and next time I see you face to face, we'll be in Nottingham, Colin. Looking forward to it immensely. On a serious note, I'm looking forward to it immensely, and we will chat to you then. Okay, buddy. Get well and take care. And
Thank you.
Chat to you soon.
See you soon.
Safe,
Cheers,
everybody.
all.
You Reds.
Right.
Take care.